I just wanted to kind of attack my game in all the different areas, and I feel like I have improved and I have gotten better offensively, especially with plate discipline, and then defensively I made a lot of really huge strides, and and base running is for me it's something I take pride in. So any aspect of the game, I feel that I've taken that next step, and I'm ready to get ready for opening day. I mean, I'm going to need every little bit of spring training to feel completely ready for the season. There's a lot of at-bats to be had. There's a lot of defensive innings on defense. I'm excited to get in game situations and have actual live reads. And I'm excited for these spring training games to start. And for me, it's April 1st is going to be the day, and I'm excited to get these games rolling. I'm feeling great right now in the workouts, and I can't wait to keep preparing for the season with these exhibition games coming.
Sorry, Tony. Next question. Tony Tacomo is from you. Your line is open.
Hey, Pete. Good to see you. Um, I think when you look into your numbers from last year, like you said, they don't necessarily show you chasing outside the zone, but maybe not doing as much damage as you did in 2019 on balls that were in the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with? Have you been able to kind of diagnose why that was the case?
Yeah, I just wasn't on time consistently, and for me, I think that in summer camp, I didn't get enough at bats that I would usually get in a regular spring training, and I scuffled at the start of the season, and then once I kind of got rolling a little bit, we had a 5 day quarantine, and then it took me a while to get back going again, and once I finally got going, the season was over. And I think, for me, the 60-game season, for me, I can't put too much merit in that, because I know it's tough. I mean, last year it was a very abnormal year, and I feel like this is not just baseball, but for all of us, I think that this is a year of resiliency. And for me, I'm just happy that we get to play 162 this year, because for me, it's 60 games. I think. It doesn't necessarily. I don't know. To me. It's the kind of the hand we were dealt. And for me personally, I think that over the course of a 162 game season, there's a ton of ebbs and flows, highs and lows. But for me, I think that over the course of 162 games, I'm going to be. I can't wait for that, because I think for me, I prepare well, I work hard, I play hard, and. Numbers necessarily weren't there in a 60-game season. I feel like that once I get rolling, and once I get in the flow, get in the groove, over 162, I'm gonna be in a really good position to help this team win a lot of games.
How much time did you take off after the season before you started getting right back into it?
I took probably about 2-ish weeks. Just to let the body refresh and let the mind reset. And I didn't start baseball activity until like after Christmas. But for me, I started training probably about 2 weeks after the season. Started conditioning, started the weight training, and I feel great. And I feel like my body's built up, not just ready for the 162, but I feel like I'm ready for the 180 some games, because my body's got to last.
Thank you.
Of course.
Next question comes from Tim Healy.
Hi, Pete. You had such a positive relationship with the previous front office, with Brody bringing you up in 19 on opening day, the record contract last spring. How important is it to you to start to build that sort of relationship with new ownership, new front office?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity, having new ownership, and I'm really excited. For me, I've had a couple different conversations with with Alex Cohen, because for us, I think it's really, really incredible that they're not just Alex, but Steve, the Cohens. They're extremely charitable and extremely charitable family, and I'm super excited because I feel like that with Alex being ahead of the Mets Foundation, and not just for me but my fiance as well, I feel like they have a lot of the same charitable the same charitable mindset, and it's really awesome. And hopefully we can have some synergy and work together on some projects and initiatives this year with Homers for Heroes. And I've had some great conversations with them, and I do know I've had some contact with Sandy because he was a part of the old ownership group as the GM, and having another familiar face be a part of that brain trust or a part of the office is great too. So I mean, it's been really great so far, and I'm looking forward to continue to have that good relationship in the future.
Unrelatedly, what brought on the deactivation of your social media accounts recently?
Well, for me, I think that real life and is just absolutely fantastic. And for me, I think life is a blessing. It's something that I feel that a lot of people, and sometimes including myself, take for granted. And I want to spend every second soaking in every single day, because every single new day is a blessing. And I feel like a lot of, especially like in the wake of what happened last year, there's a lot of things that I feel like that were kind of taken for granted. Like in 2019, if you see everybody wearing this mask, you kind of scratch your head. You just be like, all right, what's going on? But there's a lot of new social norms that we kind of just that are in place now that we took for granted. And for me, I just want to just be appreciative of every single day, and I want to just live in real life, you know. And also I want to say, like, Tim, that's pretty good, because you guys knew probably within 10 minutes of 10 minutes of everything. So you guys are good. That's why you guys are the New York media. You're on it all the time. So that's good stuff.
Good. Mike Puma, your line is open.
Hey, Pete.
Mike, did you get your sponsorship with Puma yet?
You know, I brought the extra pair of Pumas down to Florida with me just for you, man.
Let's go. All right.
I was only going to bring one pair. I brought the extra pair.
Hell yeah.
With all that's going on in Tampa Bay area with sports, you know, the last year with all the teams, I mean, what are you most excited about? And how much did I would guess the Super Bowl is probably the highlight for you, right?
Oh, absolutely. And for me, I mean, being born and raised in Tampa, it's super awesome. I'm very, very happy that that Tampa was able to experience that, and seeing everybody in the way that the energy of the city, the way that people were responding and rallied behind the teams. I think that's something that's the goal. And for me as a professional athlete, like seeing kind of everyone buzzing and excited and rolling behind the team and having the team's back. And I can't wait for that to happen to us. Like the goal for us is to be that last team at the end of the year. And being able to see how much the city of Tampa was buzzing, and it was just full of energy and exciting. And I can't wait for that to happen in New York, starting in Queens. I'm really excited for that. And but to have that buzz, to have that energy, to have that swagger, that excitement, that's a privilege. And we got to start. I mean, it starts now, the attention to details and going out there, competing our asses off and going out there and wanting to win and doing anything possible for a win. I think for us, I mean, that's the goal, and that being in that type of environment is a privilege. And I can't wait. I can't wait for that. That's going to be really special, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I hope all 5 boroughs turn into a massive block party when we do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, coming into camp last year, I recall your 2 goals were to win a Gold Glove and to be drunk celebrating on a float. So is that still the same?
Yeah.
Good. Next question is from Disha Thozar.
There we go. Hey, Pete. Nice to see you again. Chili was saying he's seen the 2019 version of you so far in camp, just with your intent and your focus. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, there was a lot of things that I did right in 2019, especially from the start, and I want to continue to be 2019 Pete, but also I hope I can be better, because for me I'm competitive. I set the bar high, and I want to keep. I just want to keep performing and keep exceeding expectations. And for me, I think that biggest thing is staying locked in and focused every day. Like today was great. I mean, I hit a homer today, and off of a hell of a pitcher, and 2 line drives off of good arms. And I feel like the process is slowly getting there. And what I said earlier is I can't wait to get going on these exhibition games, because I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, after facing or only having 10 at bats, I can't say I'm ready for April 1st, but I'm excited to play these real life scenarios, and actually just and be able to see all the different obstacles or different things that the game can throw at you. So for me, I think these exhibition games are what's really going to get us ready. And I feel like I've been putting in a lot of good work in the cage, and yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I've been talking with Chill and Slate, and been doing a lot, and I'm just excited to put all the work and test it out in these games.
And then it looks like you came into camp in really good shape, a little slimmer. Was that one of your focuses this offseason?
So I wouldn't necessarily use the word slimmer. I just want to, for me, because my type of gameplay, it's power, and for me, I want to be able to be athletic and be powerful at the same time. So I want to be, because for me, if I'm like slimmer, that means I lose weight, and then I don't necessarily drive the ball as far. And if I wish I was fast. I could try so hard, but I can't. I can't run like Lindor, or I can't run like Nimmo. I wish, but for me, my gift is my strength and my power. And I feel like the biggest thing that I really worked on and wanted to improve is just body control, not just being under control, and just mastering my movements and being connected. That's the number one thing.
Justin Toscano, your line is open.
Hey, Pete, good to see you. Obviously, as you know, there are a lot of ups and downs during an 162-game season. What have you found through your first couple years is the best way to prepare for those mentally during spring training?
Sometimes you can't prepare for them because, I mean, again, like you got days where you're smashing the ball right at people, or there's other days where the ball looks like a little rice grain that the pitcher's flicking at you and you're trying to hit it. So going through those in spring training, going through a tough time offensively in spring training doesn't necessarily have the same weight or merit as a season, because, I mean, spring training stats are, I mean, they don't, I'm not going to say they don't matter, but I mean, no one's really getting evaluated on certain things in spring training. It's like, if I were to hit 200 in spring training and then hit 350 in the regular season, then that's what goes in the books. But vice versa, if I hit 400 in spring training and hit 200 in the season, then that's that's the part where you can't necessarily quantify. But for me, I just want to go through my at bats in spring training, with a cool, collective, thought out, methodical game plan. Don't miss mistakes, and for me, I want to be able to get my swing grooved consistently in a game situation. And I'm just excited for that. I'm excited to roll into games here in a couple of days. I feel great. Had a really good day today, and I'm just looking to kind of move on forward. But I'll tell you what, those ups and downs in spring training don't ever quantify to what it's like in the season.
You've talked a lot previously about like how you'll have these short-term goals, but you've also talked about long-term and what you want to do in your career. How are you able to balance the short-term goals and doing the day-to-day stuff while still kind of eyeing the bigger picture things?
Well, you have to focus, or for me, I have to focus on the day-to-day things, the little meticulous things, and then let all of those things snowball into what the big goal is. Because for me, if I try and do too much too quick or lose sight of what I'm trying to do, then that's when I run into issues. But if I focus on the task at hand every single day, and that's why the game of baseball is so difficult, because not only is it demanding physically, but mentally you have to come in every single day and be as and give it all your mental attention. Or you can't, if you get mentally tired or mentally weak, then that's when the game can bite you in the ass. So for me, I got to focus on the day to day and just keep rolling. Do what I can that day to help my team win, whether it be offensively or defensively or making a smart ball baseball play or. But the biggest thing I can do is just give it my all every single day, which I always will, and trust my preparation and trust my game plan, and then go out there and compete between the lines at 7:05 or 1:10.
The next question comes from Tim Britton.
Hey, Pete, nice to see you. How eager are you to just be on the field defensively on an everyday basis again this year?
Oh man, I'm very excited for that. And for me, I take pride in the work and progress I've made, and I just want to keep continuing to show my progress, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. I feel really good of where I'm at right now. But again, just because I feel good today doesn't necessarily mean anything really, because the game, those spring training games really prepare you, because then you're really thrown in the fire, and you have to think through those game situations, and you have to be on your toes at all time, because I mean it's one thing getting a fungo or a hot fungo from somebody, but it's different when things are when the lights come on or at 110 or 105, whenever the game times are during these day games. It's a lot different when you got grown men hitting 95-mile-an-hour fastballs out at the defense. So, but I know it's a whole different ball game. But I'm excited. I feel like I've taken some pretty good steps forward in my progression, and I just want to keep getting better. That's all I really want to do, and I'm excited to really get out there. It's going to be fun.
And you talked about kind of getting hot right as the season ended last year. How much confidence, how much good feeling did you take into the season from just the last couple of weeks offensively?
Well, for me, I learned to give myself a little bit of grace. That's kind of like the mental little bit of the mental part of the off season, where I feel like I've matured, because baseball is such a game of failure. In a 60-game season, like, failure is bound to happen. Whether it's 162 or whatever, or failure is going to happen. And I feel like for me, it's like that game sample. Yeah, I know the numbers are there. Do I like all those numbers? No. Do I like some of those numbers? Yes. But I feel like that doesn't define who I am as a player. And I'm really happy that that last year happened the way it did, because I feel like I'm very prepared for this year, and that last year exposed a lot of things I needed to get better at, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to I'm ready to have fun and go out there and play.
Dave Lennon, your line is open.
Hey, Pete, good to see you again. But I was wondering what you guys have been told about the changes to deaden the baseball. And with that happening, how curious are you to see how the ball reacts in game situations based on what people have said?
If I hit it on the sweet spot, it's going to go a long way.
Does that mean you don't think about it very much?
No.
Okay. And the only other thing I wanted to ask Pete was, you guys made a lot of changes to the team, a lot of improvements, a lot of new guys. Lindor, obviously, depth in the bullpen, rotation. How does that make you feel? Does that help a little bit? Do you maybe not internalize as much about what you have to do? I mean, does that help kind of maybe spread things around a little?
I mean, regardless of who's on the staff, it doesn't necessarily change my job and what my plan is. For me, I want to be a tough out every single time I go to the plate. I want to hit the ball as hard as I can between the white lines, not swing at balls, and I want to attack the zone. I want to attack the pitchers. I want to hit basically anything that's crossing my zone. I want to play good defense, and I want to be a good teammate. So regardless of the personnel, which I'm super stoked about, like we made some really fantastic additions, and I mean we got a very, very talented squad, and I'm excited for us to continuously come together and play, because it's going to be a fun year, and I'm excited to play in a real game with these guys against a team wearing another color. So it'll be fun. I'm really excited, and but regardless of our personnel, my job is the same. Go out there, compete every single pitch, whether it be on the offensive or defensive side of the ball.
Next up, let's go to Greg Joyce. Your line is open.
Hey, Pete, good to see you. I wasn't sure if that one against the Panthers got out, but how did he look overall when you were facing him?
So I thought his fastball was jumping really well, and he said he was trying to manipulate his slider a little bit. There was some where that one that I hit over the fence, he hung that in a 2-strike count. But I think when he gets feel for it, like consistent feel for it, because there was a couple where I blinked my eyes and I didn't even see it. I was just like, damn, like, that's nasty. There's no way I'm touching that. So I feel like it's more. I mean, all of us are trying to get a consistent feel, whether it be at the plate or on the mound or playing defense. But I think if once he finds his consistent feel, he's gonna be nasty for us. I'm excited. I'm excited for him.
I know you used to interact with fans a lot on social media, but what do you think of having fans back in the stadium? It looks like this season.
See, I'm really excited to have fans back at the stadium, because I don't know. For me, I think that having fans in the stands is something that I don't know. There's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. It's something I can't really explain. It's just a feeling where not only like like playing on TV is absolutely fantastic, but like being there in person by one swing of the bat or making a diving play, like, or striking someone out, like you can make that many people in person smile, stand, clap, cheer, yell, even, like just by doing something. And I don't know, there's just something really special about that. Like and for me, like hearing the hearing the crowd cheer, it's addicting. Like it's the adrenaline rush that like once I heard like 40,000 people at Citi Field like go absolutely bonkers, like that's an adrenaline rush that like I'm addicted to, and I can't wait until it's packed out again like that. I mean, if it's like 25%, 30%, like I can't wait to hear people cheer again in person. Like for me, it's addicting, and and I love it. It's awesome.
Andy Martino, your line is open.
Hey, Pete. Listening to you talk about how much work you put in on defense and how much pride you take in it, and how much you were aware, but kind of the conversation around the Mets roster and the way it was going to shake out was, if there's a universal DH this year, you probably be the full-time DH. So as you're like working to become a better first baseman, what did you think of that? And do you feel like you want to prove before the DH comes in possibly in the future that you're not a DH?
Well, I think I'm a really good first baseman, and I just want to play ball, and for me, or as of right now, to my understanding, there's no DH, and I think, yeah, for me, it's like I'm a first baseman, and I'm a position player. I'm not a DH, and for me, I think I've worked too hard not to, like, I don't want to be labeled as that because I've worked too hard, and I feel like I have played well. Like in 2019, I played really good at first. I played really well at first base. 2020, I just had I didn't have my best year, whether it be offensively or defensively. But this year, I feel like that I have a great opportunity, and I want to continue to grow as a person and a player. And I feel like I will never think of myself as a DH. I will always think of myself as a first baseman.
Thanks.
Ed Coleman, your line is open.
Hey, Pete. Good to see you again. We talked to Chili the other day, and he was pretty positive that this will be a different season for you, a much better season. I wonder, it seemed to me that, you might have been one of the guys that probably most affected by the fact that you couldn't talk in person to him, kind of the give and take, at bat to at bat. Was that the case last year? And is it a plus having him here this year for it?
Well, I mean, not having him there, because I have a really good relationship with Chill, and for me, I think that having him there, and every time in 19 having him there in the dugout, he was there for those in-game adjustments, and his terminology is, to me it clicks. I mean, there's people in this world, whether it be like teachers, professors, or like different I don't care what profession you're at. If someone's trying to help you and their terminology just doesn't click with you or doesn't jive, right, then you're not going to get the most out of what you're trying to accomplish. But for me, I think that how Chili explains things, his method and his terminology, I mean, not only do we have a good relationship, but his terminology really clicks. And for me, I think it helps a lot having him here, and I'm excited to have him back. And I mean, he's awesome. He's a great hitting coach, and it's yeah, I'm excited to have him back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Your next question is from Dave Waldstein. Your line's open.
Hi, Pete. I'm wondering if you mentioned before that you want to give yourself a little more grace. Can you just tell us how hard were you on yourself before, and how have you made that change, and what does it look like?
Right. I mean, for me, I always have a very high bar for myself. I always demand a lot out of myself, and I don't think anybody has higher expectations for me than myself. Because for me, I want to be able to, I want to be the best, and I want to be the best that I can be. So I think holding myself, and when I don't meet those goals, or just understanding that, hey, listen, baseball is a game of failure. It's not for a lack of effort. It's not for a lack of work. And sometimes, during the seasons, because I know that in 19 there's a pretty good stretch of games where I struggled in the second half. I didn't just struggle; I struggled hard. But because in the first half, I was named an all-star and this and that, it's okay, whatever. It's not all right, whatever. It's okay, I'm gonna come around. It sucks right now. I feel like I'm eating a poop sandwich, but this time's gonna pass. So, but then eventually it did, and then the rest of the season I finished strong. So when I was going through a tough patch in a 60 game season, then it's like, all right, like started not hot at all, and then I finally had a lot of momentum going, and then we stopped for 5 days, and then I don't know, it's just a strange year, and for me, I think that baseball is meant to be played 162 games, but understandably so last year it was because of everything that happened wasn't possible. We were only allowed to play 60 games, and I feel like for as bad as like I struggled, I still did pretty well for struggling, or for my definition of struggling.
So were there times where in the past where an 0 for 4 would keep you up all night, for instance, or something like that, and now you're like you can put it behind you easier?
Well, yeah, I mean, being able to flush a bad game, I think leaving that at the yard, that's the number one thing that I mean, for me, I'm a competitor. I'm always gonna, oh man, what if I didn't swing at that 3-0 pitch and I popped out? I should have taken it, and maybe he would have walked me. But there's always different scenarios that I think of because I'm trying to. For me, I love to compete and I want to win, and I always think about these things, but the biggest thing is not letting things kind of eat me up too much. And for me, it's if I didn't try hard, or if I were slacking, then I could be mad at myself and keep myself up at night. It's like, listen, why was your effort not there today? But for me, because I prepare, because my effort's always there, whether it be mental or physical, I can sleep at night. It's like, you know what, like. I put it all out there. It just didn't happen today. And well, the good thing about baseball, there is a lot of games, and you can quickly turn around and just learn from those mistakes. It's like, all right, I'll get them tomorrow.
Mr. Bruce Beck, your line is open.
Hey, Pete, hope you're doing well.
Thanks, Bruce. Sick background.
Hey, thanks, man. You said you want to be the 2019 Pete, but better, and you want to exceed expectations. Do you still think you can have the same Pete joy and energy going with it?
You know it. I mean, for me, the one thing that I'd like to think I never change. I mean, I love the game, and when I'm between those lines, it's for me, it's one of my happy places. I really take pride in loving the game of baseball. And for me, before I was a player, I was a fan. Like I just love the game so much, and I can't wait to get out there and start competing and playing. And ultimately, playing's fun, playing's great, but winning is fun too. So I'm excited to get out there and go toe to toe with all the other teams out there in the league. But it's going to be a fun year. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun year.
You said you hope all 5 boroughs turn into a block party.
Yeah.
Do you think this team is equipped to have that block party for the fans? Is this team world championship caliber?
I think we have, talent-wise, yes, but there's all. I mean, we got to play the season. You know, we have to come together. And we got to prove that on the field. I think that we can, and I think that every single guy in that clubhouse thinks so. But we got to do it. We got to go out there and we got to walk the walk.
Very good. We have a time for a couple more. Tony DeComo, your line is back open.
Hey, Pete, 2 quick ones. One, you mentioned your foundation earlier. I know you were out on the field too with Alex Cohen. Do you have plans to maybe integrate what you're doing with the Mets at all?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you have plans to maybe integrate some of the things you've been doing with what the Mets are starting to do now?
Yeah, so I think because Haley and I we've had a meeting with Alex and her people with the Mets Foundation. So I think throughout the course of this year, I think there's going to be some really cool initiatives that we could potentially partner up on. And I mean, we're still kind of bouncing ideas around, but I think that there's going to be something cool in the future. So I'm really happy with kind of how we started the relationship, and I just hope we continue to have that and work together on some projects, because I'm really happy with what we've been able to do at Homers for Heroes. And I know that Alex, she's done some incredible things, like with her own personal foundation. Like, I mean, they've raised so much, not just raised so much money, but just helped a lot of people. And at the end of the day, for me, not just for me, but Haley and I, all we want to do is just help people. And that's the number one reason why we started the foundation, is to give back, because we've been extremely blessed, and we want to be able to help other people in need. And that's the biggest thing for us.
And also, on a different topic, as probably the most outspoken black jersey aficionado,
yes.
What are your expectations in terms of whether that might be a reality for you guys this year?
I really do hope that I really hope that we get them, because I think that I think it'd be exciting. I mean, just to have not just have like a different jersey, but I think we got to make it a thing. The Friday night blackouts. I mean, I'm just picturing in my mind, like, everybody in the stadium, like, with a blacked out jersey, and it just looks like I think it'd be so intimidating, and there's just sea of black shirts out there in the outfield, with like music banging out of the speakers, lights going, and for me, I think that it would bring a lot of swagger and a lot of moxie. And oh man, I just have this vision. I can't necessarily explain it all, but I think it would bring a lot of excitement. I know the black jerseys are very polarizing, but I don't know why. I think they look awesome. I think they're great. And for me, I think when I grew up, and people that grew up around my age, they used to watch like Al Leiter, John Franco, Mike Piazza. Like, David Wright played in the black jerseys. You had Jose Reyes, like back in the day, vintage. Like, you had so many of those like great Mets that wore those black jerseys, and I feel like that's so iconic. And I don't know. I feel like bring that swagger back.
Pete, thank you for your time this afternoon. Thank you, everybody else, for joining. Please remain on this Zoom, as manager Luis Rojas will be up shortly.
LFGM. Thanks, guys.